Hi there and welcome to day 17 of the 6-week challenge. Hope you guys are doing really well. So yesterday was a tough old day because I was absolutely hanging from the night before. It wasn't tough from a food point of view, just I was so tired it made it really hard to be motivated to do anything. But I managed to do a full day's work. I managed to get my calorie deficit and I managed to get really hydrated, which is one of the key things you should always do if you've had a bit of excess the night before to help your body. It kind of seems counterintuitive, but you need to flush your body out. Anyway, I'm going to quickly cut in a second the video of me weighing myself today, which I did about 5 or 10 minutes ago, and that shows that I've shifted a pound in water weight overnight, which just kind of goes to show what a difference water weight can make. But I'll talk about it in the video. So what I'll do is I'll quickly pause this now and show you that video. Okay, so here we are back again, ready to video one day later after putting on all that water weight. I say all that, only a couple of pounds, 2 pounds worth. So I'd be expected today to hopefully be a pound down from that maybe, because yesterday was a kind of a recovery day because I was hanging, so I didn't do any exercise. I did eat well. I did lots of hydration, which is the key to shifting your water weight, ironically, drinking lots and lots of water. But anyway, let's have a quick look now and see what we come in at. Okay, and we are half a pound down from yesterday, which is okay. I mean, that's not a massive amount of drop, but it's still half a pound in one day, which shows the water weight starting to come off. And in fact, the scales are measuring me too heavy, so actually that should be 1.5. It does that sometimes on my scales, so I'll just hop on again and see if I can get a more accurate reading. That little minus it said at the end there is normally an indicator that something's not gone quite right, and there we can see actually it's adjusted itself, which is good. 201.5, so a pound. Sometimes the scale's doing a bit funny, but luckily they tell you afterwards if there's been any weirdness with it, and it's still showing some kind of weirdness, but we know basically we've shifted some weight there. Some of the water weight has just dropped off straight away. So the key thing to think about and remember here is that water weight, if you weigh yourself every day, it will fluctuate, and don't sweat it if you put on a bit of extra weight one night and one day because you've had a night out the night before and you jump on the scales, because it's going to most likely be water weight unless you get absolutely nuts and have like a Christmas dinner type scenario when you're nailing 6,000 or 7,000 calories. So don't worry about that, and I will see you in the rest of the video in a minute. And there we go. So that gives you a good indication of what actually can happen, how quickly and easily you can lose the thing. I'm getting really distracted by this spot. I mean, it's absolutely massive, but anyway, that'll be gone soon. So yeah, what I'd like to talk to you today is something I came across probably about 2 years ago, and it was kind of new to me, and that was something called macronutrients. And I have mentioned this in a previous video, but just to explain what macronutrients are again. Essentially, a macronutrient stands for a family of nutrients, and there are 3 of them. There's fats, there's carbohydrates, and there's proteins. And I'm sure you've heard of all of those before. Now, each macronutrient has a different calorie amount to it per gram. Fats are 9 calories per gram, so 100 grams of fat is 900 calories. Carbohydrates and proteins are the same. They are both 4 calories per gram, so 100 grams of each one of those is 400 calories. They also have different thermic effects, so the thermogenic effect of food for each one of those. Protein is the highest, so protein does actually take more to burn than fats and carbohydrates are the easiest because our body naturally uses carbohydrates, glycogen, glucose for energy, so they're the easiest to burn, so have the least effect. So that's why you see a proliferation of low carb diets and why people have quite rapid initial results on low carb diets, because the actual food they're eating, it creates more of a burn and it reduces your carb amount, and also encourages something called ketosis, which we'll again talk about in another video. But why I want to talk about macronutrients today is that there's a lot of research that's been done and is coming out about getting the right macronutrient balance, and that can be done based on your body type. So we all have different body types. Some of us are quite naturally lean and slender. That's not me. Some are quite slightly more thick set and build muscle more easily, and that is me. Other people hold a lot of weight in their tummy area and their bum, kind of almost like classic pear shape that you sometimes see in ladies, but you know, this is for guys, so but it does happen for guys as well. So you've got your endomorphic, your ectomorphic, and I can't remember what the third one is, but you've got different body types. And there is different theories about what macronutrient balance you should have for your different body type. Now, there isn't still a lot of efficacy around. There isn't actually any rigor around the studies around that I'm aware of at this point in time. But it's just something for you guys to be aware of and think about, because you will hear the phrase macronutrients bandied around and you might think, well, what on earth is that? But essentially it's just an easy way to talk about carbohydrates, proteins and fat and the underlying balances of those you just should have. So some people say, well, you know, have 20% carbs, 40% fat, 40% protein. Some people might shift those figures around a little bit. In some of the national guidelines, certainly in America for diet, they look at having 50 to 60% carbohydrate balance with 20% of either from the other two. But we don't agree with that at all. There is no science behind that. And actually that can be quite damaging and again cause insulin spikes if you're eating it in the wrong way, i.e. eating carbohydrates in isolation. But again, that's a topic for another video, which we will talk about. So that is macronutrients. That is also from the earlier video or from the bit I cut in. You've seen how easy it is to lose water weight. And today, just a little bit of information. Tomorrow, though, we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to go a bit deep and a bit heavy, and we're going to talk about trauma. And I'm going to share a little bit about my early childhood trauma with you guys and tell you how I've dealt with it and one of the techniques that therapists use to help get past it and actually forgive yourself, forgive the people involved in the trauma that happened to you, and start to move on so that you then don't use food as a method to try and dampen or fuel that fire and make yourself feel better, and you can release yourself from that prison. And it certainly was a prison. So I will talk to you about that tomorrow. Have a great day and I will see you then.